Good afternoon, students. As we have completed the story The Suitor and Papa, and some of the questions have already been discussed along with the answers. And if at all you are having some queries regarding the questions and answers or the plot of the story, you can ask me through my personal mobile number. And I hope that my personal mobile number has been provided to you in your group. So today we are going to start a new chapter, that is a poem, The Daffodils by William Wordsworth. So this poem is composed by William Wordsworth, one of the English romantic poets. So here in this poem, basically the poet gives a vivid description of a very beautiful natural scene of daffodil flowers. Or the poem basically talks about the beauty of the daffodil flowers blooming near the lake. So before we start the poem, I would like to read out the poem to you. So as the poet is a worshipper of nature and the natural beauty, in the very first line he says that he was just wandering lonely, means aimlessly he was just wandering or he was just roaming about, and suddenly he caught sight of a beautiful scene, and he just, that natural scene of beauty left or created a deep impression on his mind. So later on he just describes the scene in the poem called The Daffodils. So now I am going to read out the poem to you. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over valleys and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, touching their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling wave in glee. A poet could not be but gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flush upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So this is the text of the poem The Daffodils, composed by William Wordsworth. In this class that I would like to give you a text of this poem in PDF format, so that you can go through the poem along the explanation. So the very first line of the poem says that I wandered lonely as a cloud. I means the poet himself says that, as I already told you, that the poet here in this poem goes to talk about or discusses the natural beauty of the daffodil flowers blooming or growing beside the lake, which looks very beautiful, and that beautiful scene of nature created a deep lasting or long lasting impression on the poet's mind. that very scene he just describes and gives a picturesque view of the daffodil flowers that he caught sight. So once the poet was just wandering or roaming about aimlessly, as the line says, I wandered lonely as a cloud. Means the poet was just wandering or going here and there, roaming about aimlessly, that floats on high over valleys and hills. Means he just compares, the poet himself compares to the cloud. Means like the clouds roams about here and there aimlessly without having any reason. Similarly, the poet was just wandering or roaming about here and there without having any reason. That floats on high over valleys and hill means he's talking about the cloud which floats over valleys and hills. So similarly, poet was wandering like a cloud or like clouds without having any reason, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. And suddenly the poet noticed a host of golden daffodils. And suddenly he caught sight of a host of golden daffodils or daffodil flowers, and that was looking very beautiful, and he was just mesmerized. The poet was just mesmerized to see the beauty of the daffodil flowers beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Now he starts giving the picturesque description of the daffodil flowers that he saw or that he caught sight. So as the poet says that the daffodil flowers were growing beside the lake, beneath the trees. Beneath means below the trees, and fluttering and dancing in the breeze, as if means the daffodil flowers looked so beautiful that as if the flowers were dancing in the breeze, means the cold air, cold wind, means along with the wind the daffodil flowers were also dancing. So in our next class we shall be talking about or discussing I will be explaining the rest of the poem. Thank you.